Kenyan President William Ruto has strongly condemned the coup in Niger, denouncing the army's takeover as a serious setback for Africa's democratic progress. Ruto expressed concern over the unconstitutional change of government that deposed democratically elected President Mohamed Bazoum, calling it a blow to Niger's aspirations for constitutional democracy. Speaking from Mombasa, Kenya, President Ruto urged the Niger military guards to release the detained leader, Mohamed Bazoum, who has been confined to his residence since the coup on Wednesday. General Abdurrahmane Tiani, chief of the Presidential Guard, has been declared president of the National Council for the Safeguard of the Homeland. President Ruto's firm stance on unity among African nations is seen as a pro-Pan-Africanism move, garnering attention and support from various world leaders, including French President Emmanuel Macron. They have joined in condemning the coup and expressed concern about the security risks posed by jihadist groups that have been a threat in the region. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa addressed the Russia-Africa Summit in St. Petersburg on Friday, emphasizing the need for peace in Ukraine amid the ongoing conflict. He expressed concern over the impact of the conflict on African countries, including the issue of food security following Russia's withdrawal from a grain deal. Ramaphosa stressed the rising prices of fertilizers, which directly affect African nations' food security. With only 17 African heads of state present at the summit, a significant drop from the 43 attendees in the 2019 Russia-Africa Summit, President Ramaphosa's call for peace and food security resonates as a critical concern for the continent. The summit serves as a platform for discussions on strengthening ties between Russia and Africa, but the current geopolitical situation has implications on various fronts. Uganda is facing a mounting challenge of plastic pollution, despite several plastic bans since 2009. The country struggles with limited plastic recycling facilities, leading to over 50% of plastic waste ending up in open land, waterways, lakes, or parks. To address this issue, Shamim Nalyayima founded EDU Plastics, a recycling company aiming to give plastic a second life. They transform plastic waste into school bags, and each bag proudly displays the label "By owning me, you have helped in upcycling 15 plastic bags." Nalyayima's initiative not only contributes to cleaning the environment but also helps educate children about plastic waste. By providing sustainable and locally handmade school bags and learning materials, such as letters, numbers, and rulers, to rural Ugandan schools, the company spreads the message of responsible plastic use. Children become advocates for reduced plastic littering and inspire their families to follow suit. However, the plastic waste problem persists on a global scale. According to the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, plastic waste is projected to nearly triple by 2060, with only about 20% being recycled. The urgent need for recycling initiatives like EDU Plastics is vital in the fight against plastic pollution. In the Central African Republic's capital, Bangui, thousands of people gathered to express their support for the new constitution ahead of Sunday's referendum. If approved, the constitutional changes would enable President Faustin Archange Touadéra to seek another term. The campaign for the new constitution urged citizens to participate actively in the voting process and vote yes for the proposed changes. The proposed constitutional amendments include extending the presidential term from 5 to 7 years and removing the two-term limit, allowing President Touadéra to potentially extend his tenure. Despite challenges such as heavy rain, supporters remained resolute in their determination to see the constitutional reform process through. Approximately 1.9 million eligible voters are expected to participate in Sunday's referendum, shaping the country's political future. The outcome will be crucial in determining the direction of the Central African Republic's governance and leadership. Senegal's opposition politician Ousmane Sonko is facing 7 new charges, unrelated to a previous moral corruption case that led to deadly protests last month, according to the country's public prosecutor. The charges include calling for insurrection, criminal conspiracy, undermining state security, plotting against state authority, and acts to compromise public security, among others. Sonko was recently arrested on allegations of stealing a police officer's phone and posting a subversive message on social media. The public prosecutor stated that Sonko admitted to violently snatching the officer's phone, leading to the charge of theft as well. Ousmane Sonko gained prominence during the 2019 presidential election, securing the third position. President Macky Sall has also announced that he will not seek a controversial third mandate. The political situation in Senegal remains tense as the opposition leader faces these new charges. South Africa's radical leftist opposition party, Economic Freedom Fighters, EFF, has called on the leaders of China, India, and Brazil to boycott the upcoming BRICS summit in solidarity with Russian President Vladimir Putin. EFF leader Julius Malema denounced Washington's pressure to turn against Putin and urged other BRICS nations to stand together in support of Russia. During the party's 10th anniversary rally, Malema also criticized South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa for not guaranteeing that Putin wouldn't be arrested if he attended the summit. Malema declared that the EFF stands with Putin and rejects any support for imperialism against the Russian leader. The potential visit of President Putin to South Africa presented a diplomatic and legal dilemma as he is the subject of an International Criminal Court arrest warrant. However, it was confirmed earlier this month that Putin would not be attending the summit in person. Russian President Vladimir Putin has expressed support for the African Peace Initiative on Ukraine during the Russia-Africa Forum in St. Petersburg. He also commended China's efforts in seeking a solution to the conflict. Putin stated that the African Peace Initiative could serve as a basis for processes aimed at finding peace, alongside other initiatives such as the Chinese one, emphasizing that they do not compete with one another. He had lengthy and substantive discussions with African leaders during the forum, exploring ways to defuse the situation between Russia and Ukraine. Regarding his absence from the upcoming BRICS forum in South Africa, President Putin brushed away questions, claiming that his presence at the summit is irrelevant. Notably, he made no mention of the arrest warrant issued against him by the International Criminal Court. Ethiopian Airlines, Africa's leading airline in terms of fleet and passengers, is facing new challenges in the post-pandemic era as CEO Mesfin Teso discusses the company's growth strategy. Despite the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, the airline reported a prosperous financial year, carrying 13.7 million passengers and generating $6.1 billion in turnover, fully recovering from the pandemic's impact. However, the effects of the pandemic continue to be felt, with high inflation leading to increased operating costs and fuel prices. The airline is also grappling with a shortage of spare parts due to disrupted supply chains. Additionally, the industry is experiencing increased competition as post-COVID activity picks up, forcing Ethiopian Airlines to reevaluate its cost structure and implement a cost reduction plan to remain competitive. While facing challenges, Ethiopian Airlines is determined to pursue its Vision 2035 growth strategy, aiming to quadruple the number of passengers and increase international destinations and fleet size. However, the company is also facing legal proceedings related to discrimination accusations and is developing a sustainable development strategy to address carbon emissions, but the availability and high cost of sustainable aviation fuel remain major hurdles for the industry. The Festival International Nuits d'Afrique, known as the largest world music festival in North America, showcases African, Caribbean, and Latin music in Montreal, Canada, every July. Founded in 1987 by Lamine Touré, the festival aims to bring diverse cultures together, creating a big family where everyone is welcome, regardless of their origin. It serves as a platform for artists to share their music and offers Canadian audiences an opportunity to experience the rich diversity of African music. During its 37th edition, the festival focused on giving more visibility to women artists, with the Women of the World category featuring 6 talented musicians, 4 of whom hailed from Africa, representing Zimbabwe, Burkina Faso, Cameroon, and Senegal. Among the festival's regular performers is Nigerian songwriter and singer Yemi Alade, who expressed a strong connection with Montreal and a commitment to participating as long as she is available. Festival Nuits d'Afrique remains an important cultural event that celebrates the global influence of African music while embracing the richness of musical traditions from around the world. Algerians are in mourning as they hold funerals for the 34 victims of the devastating wildfires that swept through the country. The fires, fueled by a Mediterranean heatwave, raged for days, destroying homes and vast forested areas, leaving scorched land in their wake. One small village witnessed the tragic death of 16 people as they attempted to flee the flames. Among the victims were 10 soldiers trapped in Bajaya province, prompting President Abdelmadjid Tebboune to offer his condolences to the grieving families. The scale of the disaster was immense, with over 100 fires burning across 17 provinces and more than 1,500 people forced to evacuate their homes, as reported by Interior Minister Brahim Merad. The wildfires have become a recurring challenge for northern and eastern Algeria every summer, but this year's extreme heat wave has exacerbated the situation, leaving communities devastated and in mourning for the lives lost and the destruction left behind.